Good evening. It seems fairly quiet at the moment. There's a few names, few people on. Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming along. Really appreciate it. Hi, Sheila. Say hi in the chat thing. We're all very friendly here. I've got a number of regulars that turn up and support these shows, so thank you very much for that. Usual thing, we're live here. It's a bit of a chit chat. I feel slightly less prepared than usual. I don't do a whole lot of preparation, but slightly less prepared. But that won't spoil anything because it's more of a chit chat, and we just catch up on stuff. So for the benefit of the audio one that's going to go out afterwards, when I put that out to audio services, this is episode 197 of the Phil Swallow Show /podcast, broadcasting on 31st of August 2026. Hope you're doing well. I'm having some trouble with some windows here, so I'm going to close one off. Means nothing to you guys. But yeah, thanks for coming along. So we've got some other hellos here. We've got Jeff. Hi, Jeff. We've got Altenberg Eagles. Good evening to you. We've got Merlin's Cat, as ever. Merlin's Cat. Have you missed one? I don't think you have. So brilliant to have you on. Yeah, it's... we've gone from the ridiculous weather where you couldn't really do anything to, I don't know how we describe this, it's kind of autumn in look, but it's still fairly mild, fairly warm. It's probably going to change at some point, but yeah, so it feels like we've almost had summer stolen from us in the UK. We just had heat waves with a little bit of a respite in between. And I think in some ways that might have affected what I've been doing, or what I would have liked to have done with the filming, but still managed to get out there, get some new stuff out there. Hopefully you've seen, I think we've probably had two since the last show. There was the Art Deco in Coney Hall. I think that was due to be released after the last one, if I've got my dates right. And then last week was the Princess Road one. Don't think you missed any. Excellent. Good to hear. In theory, my water's a long way away. In theory, if you have your notifications switched on, it will tell you. I have channels that I follow, and I do have notifications switched on, but I just seem to, like a lot of things, just let the notifications build up. I'm not very good at, kind of dealing with them. But eventually I will catch up. Good evening, Martin. And he also says good evening to everybody. So yeah, thanks very much. Right. So again, I'm not. It's never a formal agenda, as you well know by now. It's more about kind of just checking through a few notes that I put down. Good evening, Julie. Thank you for joining as the nights draw in. And we could croaking already. I haven't had a drink yet. And we have a nice little comment here. Enjoyed your Princess Road vid with your mate. Yeah, with Richard. We are very distantly related, but it takes too long to read out what the actual connections are. About third cousins, 3 times removed and things. But yeah, we had a lot of fun. I really must do simpler videos in terms of same subject matter, but perhaps a few shorter ones. I might be forced to do that in the coming weeks. So, we've had a few family challenges. I think from time to time I've normally shared on here a situation with mum. Sadly, not getting any better, and it won't really. Mum's actually in end of life care now. She's at home, thankfully, and we're all kind of rallying round and going to see her every day. She's not too far away, and I'm expecting that a number of people who follow the channel, who perhaps are on tonight, have all been there. And it is tough, and there's no real way around it. You have to draw on support from the rest of your family, and go about things as best you can. It's all about mum, really, keeping her as comfortable as possible. But she's kind of rallied in herself the last couple of days. We've had quite a few people going and visiting her, but she's in bed now, and carers are coming and all that sort of stuff. But even the carers are a fairly regular team. They don't chop and change too much. So yeah, and obviously when those things come along like this, that sets the agenda. And I've probably mentioned on here in the past that having the interest in the stuff that I do is not, it doesn't make it like a challenge. It's not like I've got a job that I need to juggle, but it's good to have this because I can put my head into it and have a bit of a flip from what's going on. Although obviously the mum situation never leaves you, never leaves your head. We've got another couple of highs. How West Croydon has changed indeed. We've got another high from Frederick Does. We've got a high from Gazelle 8981. Thank you, Julie, for that. Just come back from gold panning in Scotland. How amazing. I want to hear more about that. I want to hear about gold panning in Scotland. And thank you for your wishes. So we've got a 54321 high. Yes, so right, gold panning in Scotland. Right, okay. I don't know why we've got more gold panning in Scotland, but from the same gold panner. Yes, so again, family, we've got some challenges on two sides of the family as well. So, but yeah, I mean, so Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, I've got a talk in the afternoon and then a talk in the evening. In fact, I'm kind of a bit of everything in the evening because at the Bourne Society I do the audio and visual and some other bits and pieces. But it's all for me this week because I'm giving the talk. I'm the guest speaker. So if you're able to come along to Soper Hall on Wednesday night, say hello. Martin, I know you're normally there. And one or two other faces sometimes come down there. But yeah, the Bourne Society, it's kind of the kick-off of the autumn season. The outdoor events are done in the summer months. And yeah, so, and again, my brother and sister know I've got that commitment, so I will be doing those. And again, I like standing up and walking around with a camera and a mic. I like standing up and talking to people in a room with a screen and projector and all that sort of stuff, talking about what I do, having a passion for what I do. So, right, okay. Hello's all, I think, from DJ Puff the Third, and Jonathan, DJ Puff. I've not managed to get around to all your videos. We'll have to catch up one day, and there's very interesting things that you've done, helping out nature and discovering things along the way. So that's great. So DJ Puff the Third, you'll see him on the chat. Have a look at his channel. He's got some very, very interesting take on things. Yeah, I will let you know, Jeff, let you know about mum situation. So yes, and just I suppose a bit of a video recap. So yeah, the Coney Hall one, something I'd been meaning to do. I suppose it was a bit of a tour. I did the Shirley ones, starting at the Wickham Road. That led to the West Wickham ones, and it was kind of gradually working down towards Coney Hall. All a very nice part of the world, all packed full of stories, and I've actually been asked to give a talk next year, and I did ask for them to do it in 2027, so I've got a chance to write it, but I'll be giving a talk about West Wickham to a WI group there, so that'd be a nice one to add in, because I just discovered so much about that area. It's a fascinating area, and I probably only scratched the surface, but yeah, so looking forward to doing that. And the Coney Hall one was nice because I'm a big Art Deco or modernist fan, and since then some amazing comments. So again, I'll assume that you've seen the video, but in there we've got the reference to the brothers that built the estate, whose name has completely escaped me. I should know. Again, head's a bit full of stuff at the moment. And the granddaughter of one of the brothers put a comment on the video, which is just amazing. So by throwing it out there into YouTube land, there's always a chance that someone can come along with a comment story, something that helps to continue the story. So that was amazing. Why can't I think of it? Anyway, if you think of the name, put it in the comments. Right, so I'm just going to catch up on a couple of these. So we've got a nod from Jonathan about catching up. That's good. We've got, you should go with Jonathan to the Red Robin tip. I did. It was great. Found an embossed bottle. Idris. Okay, right. So there's something. There's a challenge for me is to come out and have a chat with and a meet up with Jonathan. He's still behind with uploads. More bottle hunting. Uploading a new vid tomorrow. It's going to have to be editing for 5 hours straight today. Annoying. And hi, David. Yeah, on the editing. So again, I filmed it on the last Saturday, and I always obviously upload as soon as possible. And do a little assemble edit to start with, just to lay everything out, and then go back and do all my fancy stuff. I like to do a kind of secondary bit to obviously help tell the story, as you know. That takes quite a bit of time, but I set myself a target of doing a 9 to 5 workday editing. So I literally did that last Monday. I started at 9 o'clock. I had about half an hour break for lunch and popped downstairs for cups of teas and coffees every now and then. Finished about 5:30. And then the following day, did a little bit more in the morning. Richard came round for a review about lunchtime. I finished the file completely by the evening, did the subtitles, and then it was all uploaded on the Wednesday. So I was quite pleased with what it ended up being 32, 33 minutes of final footage. That was from an hour and a quarter of footage filmed. There's obviously some redos within all of that, let you into the secrets. But yeah, it was a tight edit, and also some of that we'd done in advance. Obviously you get the photos ready, and some of the map work I do in advance, but a lot of it I just do on the fly as we go through. I know in my head what I'm going to do, but then when I've got it there, when I've done the filming, I think, actually this would work better, and it just goes from there. Where would we be without these maps and these old pictures? Because some of them are fantastic. Absolutely amazing. So good luck with your editing, and 5 hours straight is a good old solid one. What editor do I use? I use Final Cut Pro. So I'm basically all Apple. I've done a bit of stuff in Apple Motion recently, which you can help to make your own graphics and things. Just done a bit of, it's quite complex, but I've done a bit of that. And then obviously technical gear that I use, I'm happy to cover that as and when. But yeah, Final Cut, I've been using that for a number of years now. It's really good software, and they're adding to it all the time, different features. So we got a comment about big white glazed jars, using them to store pencils and art stuff. Love it. Up for a meet-up. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, maybe we'll have to all have a bit of a get together. That'd be good, wouldn't it? So I know some of us are far and wide, some of us are Croydon based. I just hit a key, hopefully it hasn't done anything. But yeah, it'd be good to have a meet up. Anyone's interested, come and have a cup of something somewhere at some point. It's always hard to get these things organised, isn't it? So yeah, so Coney Hall was done. I think that will lead to more. I want to do more on that architectural style, but I still, when I need to go somewhere, even if it's in the locality, I always think, well, I'll just take a bit of a diversion here and have a look at the houses down this road. And some of the East Croydon / Addiscombe border, there's some wonderful Edwardian houses. So, and some of these are in those heritage areas that I've covered before. So I'm probably going to do a bit more on that front as well. So good, up for a meetup. As long as it doesn't involve walking. Yeah, I'll talk about my walk plans in a minute. So yes, we've talked a bit about Princess Road, so that was done. That was nice to sort of cover that off. And I genuinely didn't know about, well, I knew the family connection with an area near there, but I did not know that my great-granduncle was born in Windmill Grove, and that my great-great-grandma lived in Parsons Road, and the family. And I did put that little thing on a community post a couple of weeks back about my great-great-grandma who lost her white cockatoo over Queen's Road Cemetery. And there would be a healthy reward given. I don't know if she ever found it. Hopefully she did. There was no follow-up in the paper. I couldn't find anything. That'd be good. Yeah, if you come back to Croydon for a visit, that'd be great. Please, all my the contact details are on the screen there, I hope. But most people do tend to find me. I get emails from time to time about things that I've covered. I had some wonderful emails, actually. People come in and just give me a bit extra information about their stories or their connections with an area. But yeah, some really lovely stuff that you guys sent in, and I don't need a motivation to do any more, but that really does help, because it kind of confirms that there's a meeting between what I'm putting out there and what you guys like receiving. Does that make sense without being too twee? But I think, yeah, we're all on the same page, as they say in corporate world. So I'm just looking at my Palace shirt. That's over there. That is the away one. Quick diversion about Crystal Palace, because there's not much we need to say about them at the moment, because they've started very slowly. So they brought out the white shirt, and I wasn't too sure about it. The stripe is very broad, and then they got this second one, which is the zigzag red and blue one, which looks a bit like a training top they had the season before last. So I wasn't completely taken by it. So it was almost the least worst option. And I did notice when looking at them in the shop, each shirt has a different badge. My badge just has the symbol with no writing on it, so it's all a bit weird. But yeah, I went for the black away one. So darker colours tend to suit me a little bit better. So my fashion stylist wife tells me. I support NUFC because I'm from Newcastle. Well, that's fair enough. You know, I mean, I saw most of Newcastle colours there. And they did well yesterday against Spurs. Yeah, so Princess Road, there's one possible revisit to that area, general area. So Henderson Road is classed as one of these Croydon heritage areas. Now, there's areas that Croydon have put on the heritage list, and there's other areas that they kind of reviewed, and they're all sort of logged and stuff on the Croydon website. So, and they did quite a bit of research just to put those stories together about when the houses were built and some of the characteristics. So I'll probably do a quickish wander down Henderson Road. Oh, I lost my voice down Henderson Road, and do a little bit of filming. But I've also got that to do in different pockets all around the area. As time is likely to be tight in the next few weeks, as I mentioned earlier, probably going to do some of the slightly shorter ones just for the time being. So there's all sorts of bottle discussions going on here. I won't bring them all out, but all things bottles. See Jonathan. So yeah, so I've just my notes here. The next videos like to be a bit shorter, but yeah, probably the next 2 or 3 likely to be. There's a couple that I've still got to do that are big-ish, but that one, the next couple are likely to be a little bit shorter. Now, in the last session, we were talking about open house. That has been up for registration now. Has anyone signed up for anything in open house season? I haven't. I know that a lot of the stuff I was interested in is on the Saturday when I'm busy. But on the Sunday, there might be some. Some of them are walk up, you just turn up. And you don't need to have a ticket in advance. Others, they have limited tickets. I think the is it the St Bernard or the St Bernard estate on Park Hill was one that was interesting to me, and I think that's the Sunday, so we'll have to think about that. Yeah, let me know in the comments if you've got anything booked up for open house. Did you get any of the biggies like the Arms Houses, Whitgift Hospital, Trinity Place, or the Croydon Archives, I think they were doing, or somewhere around the Bromley area, but Croydon Minster, I think that was on there again this year. So yeah, let me know if you managed to get anything booked on open house. So yes, so I mentioned earlier the 2 talks that I'm doing. So the first one, as I say, is it's a U3A group in South Croydon, so I'm assuming you have to be a member to come along to see that one. I booked in another walk for Sanderstead, and I've had quite a good response, thankfully. Thank you. I've got some extra people that are coming along, which are my friends from the Sanderstead Residents Association, because I said, bearing in mind it's their centenary this year, and we've done a few little events here and there, and there's a booklet being produced, which I'm also involved in. I said, why don't you come along with me for the walk, but then you could perhaps host it in the autumn for other groups of residents, because there's not a lot to it really. Richard and I did the walk a couple of Sundays ago, and I found out some more information. So it's based on a Bourne Society documentary walk that they put together a good few years ago now. I did a video based on that a couple of years back. So it's kind of that route. It's all the upper part of Sanderstead, so starting and finishing at the church, and it goes round towards the old Rectory Park area and the recreation ground, and down towards Atwood School area and various different things, the old fire engine site, all that kind of stuff. So that's the walk we're going to do. It probably will take about an hour and a half or so. It's also the Heritage Day, so I'm looking to, once finished there, get down to Caterham to Soper Hall, where there's a number of different stands and things on. I want to try and support that as best I can. So let's have a little look, just catch up on some comments. Way someone's graffiti on the train in First Capital. Little thing about the manor house behind the co-op. Co-op actually own it, and one of the employees' friends owns some decor from the old manor house. And the co-op said Woodside Court. Yeah, we talked about Woodside Court there, manor house. The bit that's left, which unfortunately is not the most glamorous bit. Yeah, that'd be great to get inside. I think it's been quite heavily transformed inside, because it was at one of those police shops and some other council type building, so I think inside it may not have many features, if any, but it would be good to see. The Woodside Court story is one that fascinates me, and I get to tell it. Sanderstead History Group, that will be the debut for that talk at the end of October. I think it's the 28th, last Wednesday in October. I will be giving a talk on Woodside Court based on the videos that I put together. And I'm going to give it again at the, I don't know if it's called the St Mildred's Lit or the Addiscombe Lit, but a group that meet in St Mildred's Church Hall. That will be in November. Which reminds me, I'd better put the talk together. So yes, that's one of the other things I've got to cram in between now and then. But yeah, Woodside Court, fascinating story. And, if you haven't seen the videos, jump on. There's a follow-up, so watch the first one and then the follow-up, and you'll get a good idea of just how, to me, that's a fascinating building. So right, a few open house gigs on the 12th and 13th, including St Bernard's, okay, and Stanley Halls. Yep, saw that Stanley Halls is on the list as well. So we'll have to have a little chat about that, Martin, maybe at the end of September at Sanderstead, if I don't see you before then. See how they go. SPSO, yeah. Is that the building? SPSO. Yeah. Lot of open house are full already. Interested to hear if you know of a good one. Yeah, I think what I might do, Julie, is to revisit the website with all the events, because the easiest ones are always the walk-up ones. I know that there was a East Croydon walking tour. I can't remember who does that. Is it John Grinrod does it, or someone does it anyway? And I think that always gets snapped up very quickly. But there's a few of them that the ticketed ones do tend to go, because it's normally one person that's hosting these, and you can't really expect them to do them back to back, group to group over the whole weekend. So yeah. Oh, you may miss the Sanderstead Walk. Not to worry. As I say, I've got lots of people on it. I'm assuming that some may not turn up. Some might still get added. But what I might do is almost do it in a couple of groups where I, just so that it's not big, huge, big gaggle of people. But I see that some of the people have already done at least one are coming along on that next one, which is great. If I can, and if the diary allows, I'm going to ask you live on this show tonight, right? If the diary allows, and I can fit one in before the end of the year, so we're talking late October, early November, say, before the weather really changes, where would you like to do a walk in the area? So the key part is that I've already covered it, because then there's a kind of bit of knowledge about it. Would you like a Shirley? Would you like a West Wickham if we go a bit further out there? Would you like an Addiscombe? Where else? We've got South Croydon, or we could even go further afield down to Whiteleaf, Woldingham, whatever. But some of those other places are a bit more spread out. So let me know if you'd like to come on an in-person walk, what would be a favoured location, and then I'll have a look, and then we'll perhaps get that put together. Thankfully, they're not too heavy to prepare for. There's a bit of admin, and I still haven't got it completely right every time, but I'm using this email octopus service to send you the emails. I think generally it works okay, but that also manages the sign-ups and all that sort of stuff, so I have to do a little bit of admin fiddling to get all that together, but as I say, I think it works okay. Right, comments. Seen Azov House on Portland Road, but have you considered looking to the building behind the barber shop, the warehouse behind the Twin Cottage in Coventry Road? So we're talking, I'm going to put this up on the screen, add to broadcast. Are we talking about general Portland Road area? I must admit, I'm probably quite a dangerous driver when I go down Portland Road, because I'm always looking left and right at all the wonderful buildings. A lot of them, I think, have been painted on, so they're not necessarily the nice exposed original Victorian brickwork that you can see, but there are some really nice examples all the way along there. I probably don't know the naming of those buildings as well as you, Jonathan, but again, maybe we'll have a talk about that. I haven't really well, I go that area obviously every time Palace play, so I feel I know some of the back roads around there, but not necessarily onto Portland Road. It's only if I can't get a good parking spot I come out onto Portland Road and make my way back via the traffic after the game. West Wickham sounds great. Okay, I will bear that in mind. Wallingham, that's flat for walking. Yeah, I mean, Addiscombe again. I think I'm going to have to do them all, aren't I? Do you know what? They're great places. They really are, and it's I found I've had a lot of pleasure taking you guys round doing that, and I'd like to hope it's mutual as well. There's some really nice feedback. So yeah, it's there's probably an argument just to basically say that over time I'll try and cover them all, and once they're done, you know, I mean, they don't. Again, it's not like I need to do any major work to store the maps and the routes and obviously if you've been on them before, you know that I bring along the odd photo and map extract and that sort of stuff in my little folder. But yeah, so I'll consider all things are on the table, I think is basically what we're saying. Yeah, Sanderstead Ponds had a major clean-up. Yeah, it might be a Friends type thing, Anthony. I think I also saw some tidying up work that had been done at Hamsey Green Pond. When we did the walk there earlier in the summer, actually it was spring, it was April, we did the walk at Hamsey Green. The pond was just dry. I mean, it looked a bit tatty, a bit messy. Since then we've had the summer that we've had. But I thought when I drove by there the other day, it was much, much tidier. I don't know whether they cut the vegetation back to avoid perhaps potential fire hazards, don't know. But yeah, Sanderstead Pond, I think there's a bit of a battle going on there trying to de-weed it and make sure the water level's, you know, sensible. Fish still swimming around in there. But yeah, so Sanderstead Pond most definitely features in the walk that I've got planned. Yeah, Addiscombe, find some old bottle tips. Pigeon infested church. Right, okay, that sounds interesting. Twin Flint Cottage, Coventry Road. Guessing there was a vicarage there. Side and back of the cottage is a repair garage. Brick and Flint. Okay. Yeah. Always things to consider. There's so many of these buildings, and I think if I could just get the story of one building, would that make a video? I'm my own worst enemy, guys, with this stuff, because I see somewhere and think that'd make a good story, but I always think, but why don't I just do that as part of one that goes here, 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 and here? And in the end, I end up, you know, not being able to get it out as quickly as I'd like. So I must discipline myself to sometimes do shorter videos that I can just pack a concise story in. I've done a few. I've done my snippets here and there, because it's up here. They're not quite, you know, you've got these YouTube shorts that are up to 3 minutes long. It wouldn't be that necessarily, but it would just be shorter videos. I really must do that. Note to self. Autocorrect. United Reformed Church off Elmore Road in South Nord. Ah, yes. So Enmore Road. Well, that I parked my car near there, Jonathan. So I'm going to put this up on the broadcast. When the light hits that brickwork and the windows, beautiful. So yeah. So and we got a South Croydon and Addiscombe. Yeah, South Croydon. There's like some beautiful hidden gardens and paths and things. All the way round sort of Pampisford Road area, Warham Road. You've got some massive Victorian houses on the back of Wadden area, you know, where you come around from opposite where Purley Way is, as you're coming back towards South Croydon. All the way around there. I mean, it is a bit of a mixture in terms of some newer development where old houses have been taken out, but yeah, have featured a bit of them on videos in the past, but well worthy of walk, and also fairly gentle, you know, the odd bit of a climb, but nothing too punishing. So yeah, the area around Hamsey Green Pond, no, I don't think there is any water. What we did notice when we had the walk there was there is like a pipe that comes in there but someone said it's completely blocked or broken further up the line, and I don't know. It's a bit of a shame, really. I know that there is a water control valve thing in Sanderstead dedicated to Nicholson, is that the name off the top of my head? You can see the little dedication. There's a little kind of structure by the reeds, and they're going to bury a time capsule just on the mound above there. That's all part of the centenary, so that's going to happen later in the year. Right, where we are. What am I talking about, and what's my channel about? I've had a question. Local history of Croydon area. There you go. So basically everything on the channel, and on pretty much on this discussion as well, is all about the area. My story being that in lockdown I went out walking, and I thought, I wonder what's behind this and this, as I saw things on my way, and started to do a bit of research and join a few local history groups and buy a few books and a few more books and log on to various research sites online, and was able to put together stories. And I thought, I'm going to start making some videos, and then it all went from there, really. And that's led to all sorts of other stuff now, where I'm heavily involved in local history groups, and but it's great fun, and occasionally I get stopped. So what was the name's guy? I forgot. I'm bad with names at the moment because there's so many things in my head. At the museum in Caterham, they had a railway day with a little railway outside, and we got chatting to the guy afterwards, and he said, "Are you that Phil bloke who does the..." So we had a nice chat, really nice chat, and he's going to be at the... Is it the Apple Day or Apple Fair Day at Addiscombe Train Park? That's on the 12th of September as well, which is one of the open house weekends. So, yeah, so the local history, this is my thing. Pipe came out of the Good Companions. What do you mean? The toilets out of the Good Companions, and they fed in under the road, and they fed into the pond? Surely not. Right, okay. I'll have to look at this Apple Maps. And is that Cobden Road? I'm not sure. It says Cobned. Is it Cobden Road, South Norwood? I'll have a look. I mean, there's a whole world of history in South Norwood area. I'm still thinking about cemeteries. Obviously, we visited Queen's Road Cemetery quite a lot. Joshua Alder's grave is in Queen's Road Cemetery, amongst many others. So, and again, I will, on this show, also a big shout out to the bereavement team. We wanted to find the DeMarco grave, and they were absolutely first class in doing the research and finding out all the answers. They even gave me the documentation that was put together when the memorial was first designed back in 1934. Amazing, absolutely brilliant team, Croydon bereavement team. Yeah, Cobden. Okay, right. Addiscombe Railway. I've not been to Addiscombe Railway Park. I know Martin's mentioned it in the past, I think, and I can't go there for that event day. But I feel I just want to go up there and have a wander, just to explore it. So that might happen. Apple Day and 20th anniversary day. I mean, it depends on the timings for that. Crystal Palace are at home, but I was kind of thinking, well, if it's in the area, so maybe if I go and have a look at the open day. Do you know what? Does anyone know what time it starts? If someone can have a look at the start times while we're on, that would be wonderful, and put them in the chat. And then, whilst hosting this broadcast, I will, in my head, work out whether I can fit it in that day. It'll be good. Yeah, Crystal Palace Park. That's an amazing place. I joined their Crystal Palace Foundation group on Facebook. There's a guy there, try and remember the name, Brian White, does some colorizing of the old black and white images. Superb job. And it's obviously it's his interpretation, but it really brings them to life, particularly the interiors. But I went to the museum, I think, before the last one, and that was really good. Lovely team there, lovely set of exhibits, and just a beautiful story. And I just kind of stood there and orientated myself using a map, the same maps that I use, National Library of Scotland, same ones that I use for the videos and the research and stuff. So I could work out where I was standing, or where I would have been standing, if the Crystal Palace itself was still there. So it's just one of those little kind of mind things that you can do, this imagination thing. Great fun, love doing all that weird stuff. 10 and 11 closing at 5. That would be great. If that is the timing, wonderful. I thought I read that it was a 3 till 5 in the afternoon. I don't know why. In which case that's a complete no-no, because obviously that's when the football is on. But yeah, so Crystal Palace. Addiscombe Station, yeah, that's where it was. Involved in the foundation back in the day. Okay, nice one. Right, okay, we got Scott Harrison joined. Scott, I'm going to add your details to the broadcast. Here we go. Watch a lot of your videos online. Finally got to watch your monthly live. Yes, you're live. Welcome, Scott. Keep up the good work. Any updates on the strange... Now, do you mean Strange Stones by Lincoln Village? Various comments have come back on suggestions for the Stones. It might be that it's a completely innocent reason for it. There was a farm structure there, and no doubt there was some sort of, I don't know, maybe stone flooring in buildings or whatever. But my argument holds, and I'm pretty certain this is the argument I made in the video. If you're clearing all of that area, which they did because they built the Shell garage, I think there's an electricity substation and some other stuff there, are just grass and pathways. If you're going to build all that, why did you not clear it? Why did you leave certain stones with little markings on them in situ? Maybe you did it just to wind up future people who are going to ask that very question. But yeah, I don't know if we'll ever know, because people who would have been involved around then have passed. I mean, it could be that I need to dig a bit deeper in the Surrey records at Woking, or maybe in the Croydon archives. I've already looked at some of the archaeology, and I thought I found a couple of things, but it ended up being probably in an area different to where it actually was. So, but a mystery's good, isn't it? Because you get all these theories about it. So yes, we may find out one day. Right, let's have a look. Catching up on the comments. There's still some old rails at the Addiscombe Railway. So did they make a feature of them? Right, okay. Regularly haunted Addiscombe Station. Okay. Publicity notice says from 2 p.m. That's probably why I ruled it out then. Because by 2 I'd really be parking the car and starting to make my way up to the ground. So, a bit of a shame. And it's only the one day, I guess, isn't it? The Addiscombe event. They are strange stones indeed, Scott. Very strange. Particularly where it looks like they've been it looks like there are markings on there, as if the stone has been worked. I think it's probably the thumbnail for the video where I stuck my finger and did a snap of the image. Standing stone at the bottom of Cromhurst Woods. Not sure if I've seen that one. I might have walked past it. Rail, wooden post and points, equipment at Downmelly Passage. Okay. Spencer Road, South Croydon. That's another thing to strongly consider. Spencer Road is amazing. The old railway. So that's what we featured in the South Croydon walk, which at the very end, I'm not sure if it was too popular, but it wasn't too bad. I said, let's walk up a hill. So we walked up a hill to, what was the name of the property? Begins with C. Cotlands or Coatlands. I've seen it spelt both ways, up at Park Hill. So yeah, very good stuff. The other thing with the railways in South Croydon on Jonathan's channel, I mean, it's hidden back quite a long way, isn't it, Jonathan, where you made your way up onto the bridge over Crome Road. So you can have a look at that. Maybe you should make a link or something to your videos, although links can't be. Anyway, Peter Gabriel at Sellers Park in 1983 had a substitute drummer, some guy called Phil Collins. I've heard of him. I have heard of him. Peter Gabriel's still going, isn't he? He did a summer festival recently. I saw something on YouTube. Elmer's End Crematorium. This one keeps coming up. Yeah. I did some very tentative research about that. But yeah, so I have to consider that. I suppose I just got to grasp the nettle and do it. I sometimes kind of think, will this hold the attention? Will it be interesting? Blah, blah, blah. But I did a bit of a sample. When I did St John the Baptist Churchyard at West Wickham, or Coney Hall, Wickham Court really, Lambs Road, that area, I found this gravestone, this tomb that was very high up, and it had an Admiral of the Fleet details on there. So when I did the edit, I added the information in. So maybe I could always do that. Spot what takes my eye visually, and then kind of play some music while I put up the information afterwards. I suppose I don't know, do I? I don't know until I try. So maybe I should just do these things. Take a camera out, film some graveyard stuff, and then you guys can then tell me if how well it landed. Sparing some thought for the 34 lads and 2 teachers from Lanfranc who tragically lost their lives. Yes, they did some work to tidy up the memorial there, didn't they, I think, recently. Spencer Road track is still there. Platforms in bushes at Selsdon. Yes, you can still see the platform structures and some of the rail. But obviously each year with the growth it kind of gets covered a bit more. I think that's right, Scott. The stones would have been there in the early 70s, which was probably shortly, because the road used to go through there. The dual carriageway bit came later. The main road was down to Addington Village, and then from there up towards Addington, New Addington. It seemed to be there was something to do with the farm. Yeah, it may be that it's as unromantic as that. It was a farm building. I still make a point. Why did they not cart the stones away? Why did they leave them there in situ? Maybe they got some weird kind of supernatural reaction and thought, I'm not touching those. We're just going to scarper, put some grass seed down and leave. Yeah, hey, you never know. You never know. So all of that Spencer Road area, I guess, is gradually being lost to nature. Nice that they didn't lift the track. They kind of left it there, a bit of memory. I think, anyway. It's probably easier half the time. That's why there's still a lot. Like we went to Alderney for our honeymoon, which has got huge, great Victorian forts. Massive. Not fenced off or anything. You have to watch where you're putting your feet, otherwise you'll be down a level below where you first were. And also a number of German gun defence positions, machine gun positions, all over the island. And you can just go and explore them. They're not fenced off. And it's easier to just leave them. They were built to last. And as I say, the forts, the Victorian forts were, the way Victorians built stuff, they were built to last. There was talk that I think a big hotel chain were going to come in and, develop them and reuse them, but that didn't really happen. Fascinating island though, Alderney, if you ever get the chance. Used to be able to get Lloyd Park Tunnel before it's good that they reuse that, when they built the tram. They made good use of that old line, and it's probably seen more traffic in the 20 odd years that it's been running trams than it did when it had a railway service, or getting on for it. If you think about how many trams go up and down that line every day or through that tunnel, it probably is much, much higher than that little line that used to chug along. Right. Oh, right, I'm going to put this on. Are we talking about the stones at Addington here, Jonathan? Another talking point. I guess there's Seas limestone pavement rock from Durham. Placement in the 1960s, 70s conifer heater feature when the bypass was made. Right. I'm confused but also interested. I don't know if anyone has ever done any form of analysis on the stone. So that might help. It'd be almost like our own Stonehenge revisited, albeit Addington interchange. Yes, that footbridge further up, we included that in our walk. So we went down Spencer Road, crossed over that top footbridge where you can't really, I mean, it's like a concrete, like a wall either side. You can if you lift up and look over where the top part of that line was. And the reason we went down there is where you go down the road from the sports club, it's Birdhurst Rise, and that's the plot where the poisonings took place. So in the walk that we did, it was like the perfect way of covering that part of the story, and then we looped round and then did the other Spencer Road Bridge a bit earlier. So yeah, nice one. Conifer heather, not heater. Conifer heather feature. Yeah, limestone. Okay. I'll bow to your stone experience. Nice one. So yeah, so cool. I mean, I'm great to see that you'd be interested in the walks. I mean, I say very informal. You know, I know I get the sign up details just so that I know the numbers. If one person's on there, it might not be worth doing. If 50 people are on there, I might need to break it down or have a cut off or something. And I only ever, I think the first time I did put it on Facebook, but that means I don't always get the sign-ups in the right way and people might just turn up. So I think I've not put any of the others onto Facebook, mainly because this started out as something I was offering as an extra meet-up chance with you guys. So I kind of just push it through the YouTube channel, really. And on my website. So if you visit the website, you'll see that they're on there. So, right, a couple of others. Right, this is very interesting, Martin, that you've been to Alderney a number of times, and you'll tell me the story. Yes, please do. As I say, amazing island. You know, the story of being occupied and all that sort of stuff. They were probably, I think, by their own admission, quite fearful when the Germans arrived, but it was very, very primitive on the island. But the Germans basically laid down infrastructure like, you know, a pipe for water and I suppose heating and you know, roads were built and all that sort of stuff. So when they returned to the island, it was, they've done the place nicely here, you know. What was quite funny though, very brief story, we went to visit their museum, and it's kind of a bit like a church hall sort of thing, and this guy came in with this kind of, I don't know, it was like a pole with a bit of a sheet half wrapped over it. It was flapping around in the air, and he said, I just brought this through town, but luckily the sheet stayed on because it was an MG42 machine gun. You wouldn't do that over here, but in sleepy Alderney you could do it, and it was literally to take and put into a cabinet. He said that in the houses up there they always find stuff under floorboards and in attics and things where the German officers stayed, but to the German army it was a bad posting because nothing happened. Churchill said, we're never going to defend it. It's of no strategic importance to us at all. So fill your boots, Hitler. Take Alderney. Good afternoon from Lakeland, Florida. Nice one. Good afternoon, Kevin. Welcome. So let's have a look. Jeff, you're going to meet up with one of the blokes you used to work with on Croydon Council. He started when he was about 6 or 7. No, he was there for years. Asking about the stone. Yeah, please do, Jeff. Give him the channel details as well if he wants to brush up on anything that I've been putting out there as fully researched information-ish. Well, no, I research as far as I can. Then it's down to you and others to maybe help me tell the rest of the story. Documentary on Sark the other day. Sounds good. Older 1960s, 80s photos of the rocks at Addington Village. I'm sure there were circular built-up beds, conifer and heather. Most of it had been swiped. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, wouldn't it be great if Google Street View went back over the centuries almost, or certainly until there were roads, or from when roads were built. I don't doubt in time there will be a full AI version of what it might have looked like with all sorts of the usual AI qualifiers. But it might help to at least tell the story. I'm on the fence with AI really. I think it, you know, a lot of it you think, what's the point of that? But there are other things that it can do quite well. So as long as it does them well, I don't mind. If it helps to advance, healthcare and all that sort of stuff, good. But if it does a lot of this deep fakery, then yeah, not so good. And it's becoming really expensive. There's sort of, all the tech companies are buying up all the components. So we're paying more if we just want to buy a bit of storage. Even just these cards and things that we use for the cameras and the like. And then people won't be able to afford a computer to run the AI on that the tech guys have spent all their money building AI solutions for. Yeah, we'll let that one settle. I'm sure it will at some point. So, yes. Right, so great to hear about the walks. Thank you. The videos obviously might be a little bit shorter for the coming weeks because there's a few things happening. In amongst all of this that's going on, we're going to grab a few days away because it's committed and there's another reason why. But yeah, so you do need to take these breaks sometimes. Sue and I try and do this. We've both got kind of busy things that we do, but it's good to just break off sometimes, just take a day completely out of it. Like when we went down to Eastbourne and saw Jeff. That was a really lovely day. Been watching Android. Yeah, I think we're about halfway through that. Really, really good actually. Really good. Really funny. I think it's been commissioned for a new series, and the new series of House Through Time. I'm pausing House Through Time, waiting for us to watch the last episode. We watched them all on iPlayer. I'd love to know how many researchers he has. I mean, I could probably find out because I've tried to copy some of what he does in some of the stuff that I've done. So here's the story of a house, but what about the people? And it's amazing what you can find out, just how a little bit of research based on a family that lived in a certain house. And it takes time, but yeah, you can find out some real gems. Because it just adds a bit of colour to the story, I think. But he must have a big team. To be fair, in this series, he did commit sometimes to say that we try really hard to find anything else we could about this person and found nothing. So at least he was honest. But yeah, he's probably got quite a team working quite some time on the research to put it all together. So yeah, really good. Annington Village, not far from bottle hunting. Harvester restaurant there too. Yeah. A lovely day. We'll have to get down again, Jeff. Look for another excuse to come down. Blimey, that must be getting on for about a year ago, I think, wasn't it? Is it the latter part of last year? Anyway, right. Well, not that I ever have a time limit on these. They normally get to about now, and we find that that's probably about right. So I'm going to say once again, thank you so much for coming along. I'm actually even going to type it in and try and get it right first time. It's starting well. You all once again. I love having these catch-ups. And as I mentioned earlier on, stuff going on in the family that affects stuff going on in the head. But this is a really great way of breaking away from it and then having a bit of time with you guys. I love it. I love the interaction. Likewise, the comments to get on the videos are really good as well. So thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for living. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. And I really appreciate it, guys. And look after yourselves. Thank you for your wishes from Mum as well. I will actually pass those on, and hopefully she'll get it all. But she does respond to having people around, and there's all sorts of people going to go around there tomorrow, I think. So yeah. Okay, good. And we will have a meet up at some point. Yeah, we'll get that sorted. Great. Thanks very much. Look after yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.